Now what I want to show you today is how to make beans without any excess oil and frying. As I put my hand above the pan, I can feel the heat. This pan is nice and hot. You don't want to touch it. Just add all your veggies. I'm going to be adding onion, one whole onion, and celery, about 3 celery stalks. Now you may be wondering why I'm putting celery. This is optional if you want. I actually just used celery because I needed it. I actually just used the celery because I had a lot of celery and I wanted to use it up. But it actually came up to be an amazing idea because celery in this recipe just makes things so much flavorful. I recommend that you add some celery and onion. And I also recommend that you make sure that you saute it really well. Make sure these ingredients are nice and sauteed. Give them a nice little mix. And then leave them there for about a minute to 2 minutes so they can sear on one side. Then we'll move them around a little bit more to sear on the other side. And we want to do this continuously for about 4 times because we really want to cook these vegetables down. The trick is to make sure that we saute these ingredients and we caramelize them and we cook them down so they are more sweeter and more flavorful. A lot of people do not like onions, but this is a very good trick to making sure that people that don't like onions can eat something that is still really enjoyable, but it's not so intense with onions. I have a lot of people in my family that just do not like onions, but they will tolerate onions if I cook them down really well, if I make them small, or they don't see them. They'll definitely eat them, and they won't complain about it. Going to saute this really well. My sister, I just had my sister here the other day, and I served her some tofu scramble, and she really liked it. But one thing that she complained about it is the onions were not cooked enough. So I got that tip from her that I need to cook up the onions a little bit more, make sure that they're cooked well. So people that don't like onions enjoy the food better. Another tip is to cut it really small, like always. Okay, our veggies are almost close to being cooked. I'm going to add some chilies. These are dried chilies, chile japonés, I believe it is. So I'm going to allow that to cook down slightly. We're developing flavors here. And don't you worry about this. Don't you worry about that. I'm going to show you how to get that off in just a moment. I just want to toast the chilies. I'm actually going to increase the temperature. I want the chilies to cook down. The chilies will increase the flavor and spice and balance to the beans. But you gotta make sure that they get cooked nicely because the roasting and caramelization is what really adds flavor to things. I'm gonna add a little bit more. This is just to remove some of the stuff at the bottom. Now, this is a term we like to use in the culinary industry, and this is called deglazing. Whenever you saute anything in the pan, you remove all those flavors. It also helps you clean the pan. So I'm going to add all the beans in there. These are Peruvian beans. I love the beans. Peruvian beans have one of the best flavors. They do take a while, so you want to cook them in an Instant Pot. And I'll show you at other videos, future videos, how to cook beans with Instant Pot. I'm going to stir the ingredients slightly and bring the beans to a rapid boil. Ideally, what we want here is to cook down our beans and ingredients till they're soft so I can blend them. Okay, and I'm gonna blend them this time. I usually use a hand blender, an emulsion blender, but I'm gonna use a blender this time because I want these ingredients to be very smooth. They give off so much good flavor. I'm gonna add some seasonings, but when the celery and the onion is too big, it doesn't taste as good as versus it being blended in there. So, and while we have the beans and the liquid here, give it a little bit of a stir at the bottom with some toughness. That's going to clean the pan and it's also going to give us more flavor. All right, so I'm going to bring this to a boil and then I'm going to blend it, okay? Once you see the bubbles all over the beans, that is an indication that everything is pretty much hot. Just allow it to boil for about a minute, maybe 5 the most. Then turn off the heat and blend this up. And there you have it, an amazing refried bean recipe. If you want it a little bit more chunky, like I said, you could use the hand blender, which I used it last time, and it was really good. It leaves bean chunks instead of it being super smooth. But I wanted it super smooth this time because I wanted all the celery blended and the onion blended. This is going to give it an amazing flavor. It's so good. It's super yummy, and you don't need any oil. Well, anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with more tips and awesome recipes. Don't forget to subscribe if you like what you see, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.